The hour of convening having arrived, all members of this house will please report to their assigned seats. All members of the house will report to their assigned seats. The clerk will ring the bell.
You didn't number the ones you wanted from yesterday.
I'm just going to leave them. We are about to have the morning roll call. All right, we're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. I need someone to vote present for Representative Lopez. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? All right, you can come down here and check in with the clerk's office. The clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. Well, good morning. Beautiful day out there today. And we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 86th House District, Representative Zulma Lopez. Representative Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dear colleagues, my name is Zulma Lopez, and I am the newly elected representative for House District 86 in DeKalb County. And if you hear a very thick Southern accent, that is because I'm originally from Puerto Rico. The idea that those who do not sound like us or look like us are here to take things from us or are here to hurt us cannot be more sobering today, the 1-year anniversary of the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. We are wearing this ribbon in remembrance of that senseless murder. Although I was not raised Jewish, my husband is Jewish, and we have been members of the temple since 2009. The temple is Atlanta's oldest and most diverse synagogue. Some of you may know that it was bombed in 1958 in an act of anti-Semitism, or that our former rabbi, Rabbi Rothschild, marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. Our current rabbi here today is Rabbi Peter S. Berg. Rabbi Berg has been our senior rabbi since 2008, and you can read his impressive resume and accolades online, but I want to highlight the fact that Rabbi Berg serves in numerous communal and advisory boards, was inducted into the College of Preachers at Morehouse College in 2009, and most recently was named one of the top 50 rabbis in the United States. But what I'm most proud is Rabbi Berg's unwavering commitment to serve as both a spiritual and community leader on issues regarding the environment, social justice, and civil rights. Please help me welcome my rabbi, Rabbi Peter S. Berg.
Good morning, Speaker Ralston, distinguished members of this House, Representative Zoma Lopez, for your warm and generous invitation to be here today and your gracious introduction. We are blessed by your leadership in this House. I'm pleased to be here today as the rabbi of the Temple, Georgia's largest and Atlanta's oldest synagogue. This has been a most challenging year any of us can remember, with the wind of anti-Semitism blowing through our society at an all-time high, with the raging fire of the worst global pandemic we have seen in our lifetime, and the earthquake of unresolved racial issues shaking all around us. We are divided and fractured as a state and as a nation. Now more than ever, we need to stand together with each other in order to stop division and the spread of hatred in our world, all forms of xenophobia and hatred. We are, after all, brothers and sisters. We may have different religions and political ideologies, but we share similar hopes for our state, which call for justice and compassion and peace. This world is a diverse place, and the lessons of both religion and politics must be articulated in a way that are acceptable to a diverse population. Because it is possible, it is very possible, that God could speak Arabic on Fridays, Hebrew on Saturdays, and Latin on Sundays. And I'd like to suggest that we see the differences among people as nothing short of a miracle of creation. The only way to truly respect and love one another is to recognize the uniqueness of each and every human being. The world is a better place because of our differences. Positive energy comes from the members of our community who sometimes disagree, yet still love and still respect each other. And because we are privileged to live in this American democracy and the extraordinary state of Georgia, which is dependent upon strong communities of faith and a representative government, we must learn how to speak to each other. All world religions pray for peace. All government entities strive for justice. Yet we know that fervor produces the worst in zealotry and in violence. How could we channel the passion and persistence that religious faith and government can summon? How can we utilize the ability of religion and government to contextualize the big issues in the most universal of terms? This is the great task that faces us this year, to engage in dialogue without unleashing intolerance and self-righteousness. The challenge of American democracy is to fashion a way that incompatible faith and political assertions can actually still speak to each other and still learn from each other. We don't have to ignore our differences to live together. And when we speak to our neighbors of other faiths and other political ideologies, what is needed most is not authority, but reasoning. A dialogue that focuses not on quotations, but on common ground. Founded on a deeply religious principle, our country, our state, is an experiment in progress. And the hypothesis that we test is that a diverse population can come together in a shared passion for liberty and a celebration of our differences to accomplish great things. But religion and government, they can both continue to play an essential role. And it's the logical grounding for our democracy, that we can learn to speak to each other in ways that we can hear, in words that allow for learning and growth and even disagreement. This task, in no small part, is the last and the greatest hope in our humanity. Seated together as our ancestors did before us, we know that we face an uncertain future. We are unsure of what challenge lies over the next hill and the next mountain. But I would like to think that, like them, we don't face that steep climb into despair, resigned to a terrible fate, nor with blind certainty. Rather, we are here because we face that mountain, over which lies the work that we do together, with hope renewed, resolved to draw upon our faith in God and humanity to create a Georgia that is filled with peace and joy and wisdom. Friends, let us stand together now in prayer. Eternal God, you ennoble our lives by empowering us to do your work here on earth in creating a world of justice and peace for all. May your name be invoked only to inspire and to unify our state, but never to divide it. We ask your blessings upon the leaders of our nation and these leaders of the state of Georgia. May our honorable elected representatives lead wisely and with civility, working together for our common good. Guide them that they may ever be champions of justice. These things we ask in your name, O God, until the radiance of peace and righteousness for all of God's children shines to the ends of the earth. And along the way, if we are weary, give us strength. If we are discouraged, give us hope. If we have forgotten how to make a difference, remind us. If we have been careless of time, forgive us. And if our hearts have been chilled by indifference, warm them. May we together be inspired not only by the acts of the women and men who have preceded us, but by the God of the universe who wants us to live in peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. The chair recognizes Chairman Hogan, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal of the previous legislative day and found it to be correct. A mistake that makes you humble is much better than an achievement that makes you arrogant. This is from Representative John Corbett.
Didn't realize he was a philosopher. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. Burns, on the 59th, moves the following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 574 by Representative Camp of the 131st, Cameron of the 1st, Hill of the 3rd, Houston of the 170th, and Jenkins of the 132nd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 411.3 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating licenses for pet dealers.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 575 by Representative Dickey, the 140th, Watson, the 172nd, Perkle, the 155th, and Holmes, the 129th. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 48.5, 7.4 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to bona fide conservation use of property.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 576 by Representative Rhodes, the 120th, Gamble of the 15th, Corbett of the 174th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 10 of Chapter 2, Title 20 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to contracts and purchases by public schools.
Education.
House Bill 577 by Representative Carpenter the 4th, Jaspers the 11th, Burns the 159th, and Ulowitz the 42nd, and Wiedauer the 119th. Bill be entitled an act to amend Title 32 and Code Section 46.181 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to highways, bridges, and ferries.
Transportation.
House Bill 578 by Representative McLaurin of the 51st, Dukes of the 154th, Hutchinson the 107th, Wen of the 89th, and Paris of the 142nd. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 1 and Title 51 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions regarding torts.
Judiciary.
House Bill 579 by Representative Oliver of the 82nd, Abstration of the 104th, Wilson of the 80th, Drenner of the 85th, Lopez of the 86th, and others. Bill be entitled an act to amend Chapter 75 of Title 36 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to war on terrorism, local assistance.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 580 by Representative McLaurin of the 51st, Frye the 118th, Smyrie 135th. Bill be entitled an act to amend Title 45 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to public officers and employees.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 581 by Representative Moptown of the 17th, Smith of the 18th, Holcomb of the 81st, Jackson of the 128th, Bentley of the 139th, and others. Bill be entitled an act to amend Title 33 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance.
Special Committee on Access to the Civil Justice System.
House Bill 582 by Representative Ballinger the 23rd, Carson of the 46th, Thomas the 21st, Byrd of the 20th, and Cantrell of the 22nd. Bill be titled an act to provide that future elections for the office of probate judge of Cherokee County shall be nonpartisan.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 583 by Representative Wilkerson of the 38th, Schofield of the 60th, Bernal of the 77th, Scott of the 76th, and Davis of the 87th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 34 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to employment security.
Industry and Labor.
House Bill 584 by Representative Bodie of the 62nd, McLean of the 100th, Buckner of the 137th, Beverly of the 143rd, Schofield of the 60th, and others. Bill be entitled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 34 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions relative to labor and industrial relations.
Industry and Labor.
House Bill 585 by Representative Bodie, the 62nd, Princeton the 27th, Alexander to the 66th, Jackson the 64th, and Mallow of the 163rd. Bill be entitled an act to amend Code Section 42.86 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to special license plates.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 586 by Representative Watson, the 172nd, Corbett of the 174th, Houston of the 170th, Blackman of the 146th, and Rich of the 97th. Bill be entitled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 1 of Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions regarding sales and use taxes.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 587 by Representative Williamson of the 115th, Reeves of the 34th, Blackman of the 146th, Jaspers of the 11th, Frye of the 118th, and others. Bill be entitled an act to amend Title 48 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to revenue and taxation.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 588 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, Burns of the 159th, Hatches of the 150th, Smyrie 135th, and Ballinger the 23rd. Bill be entitled an act to amend Title 32 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to highways, bridges, and ferries.
Transportation.
House Bill 589 by Representative Gamble of the 15th, Irwin of the 28th, Glanton of the 75th, Wade of the 9th, and Rich of the 97th. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 2, Chapter 14, and Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to education accountability assessment programs.
Education.
House Bill 590 by Representative Hogan of the 179th, Oliver of the 82nd, Williams of the 148th, LaHood of the 175th, Blackman of the 146th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Title 37 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to mental health.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 591 by Representative Hogan of the 179th, Williams, the 148th, Meeks, the 178th, Buckner, the 137th, Collins, the 68th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Title 37 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to mental health.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 592 by Representative Wilson, the 80th, Beverly, the 143rd, Wilkerson, the 38th, McLean to the 100th, Schofield, the 60th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 16 and Title 51 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to COVID-19 pandemic business safety.
Special Committee on Access to the Civil Justice System.
House Bill 593 by Representative Blackman of the 146th, Williamson of the 115th, Martin of the 49th, Knight of the 130th, Stevens of the 164th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7, Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the imposition, rate, computation, and exemptions from state income tax.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 594 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Carson of the 46th, Dollar of the 45th, Knight of the 130th, and Blackman of the 146th. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to sales and use taxes.
Ways and Means.
House Resolution 202 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Glanton of the 75th, Lim of the 99th, Evans of the 83rd, Mallow of the 163rd. A resolution urging the Georgia General Assembly adopt Wesley International Academy.
Education.
House Resolution 203 by Representative McLaurin of the 51st, Allen of the 40th, Couch of the 50th, Oliver of the 82nd, and Holcomb of the 81st. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to provide that taxes on motor fuels shall be appropriated.
Transportation.
House Resolution 204 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens the 164th, Williams the 168th, Petrie the 166th, and Oliver the 82nd. A resolution recognizing Judge Willie J. Lovett Jr. and dedicating a building in his memory.
State Properties.
Senate Resolution 28 by Senator Cowser to the 46th, Gooch of the 51st, Dugan of the 30th, Miller of the 49th, and Avarte of the 31st, and others. A resolution requesting that the United States Congress call a convention under Article 5.
Rules.
Senate Resolution 29 by Senator Cowser to the 46th, Gooch of the 51st, Dugan of the 30th, Kennedy of the 18th, Miller of the 49th, and others. A resolution applying for a convention of the states under Article 5 of the United States Constitution.
Rules.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 532 by Representative Werkheiser of the 157th, a bill relating to labor and industrial relations. House Bill 533 by Representative Yurta of the 152nd, a bill to create the City of Sylvester Public Facilities Authority. House Bill 534 by Representative Bonner of the 72nd, Hitchens of the 161st, Muptahan of the 17th, Corbett of the 174th, and Barton of the 5th, a bill relating to offenses against public order. House Bill 535 by Representative Yurta of the 152nd, a bill to provide a new charter for the City of Sylvester. House Bill 536 by Representative Laricchia of the 169th, Bonner of the 72nd, Perkle of the 155th, Lott of the 122nd, Corbett of the 174th, and others, a bill relating to emergency management. House Bill 537 by Representative Scoggins of the 14th, Powell of the 32nd, Gamble of the 15th, Lumpson of the 12th, Tarvin of the 2nd, and others, a bill relating to elections and primaries. House Bill 538 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, a bill relating to state government. House Bill 539 by Representative Cooper of the 43rd, a bill relating to the Medical Practice Act of the State of Georgia. House Bill 540 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Davis of the 87th, Hobson of the 153rd, Jackson of the 64th, Williams of the 168th, a bill relating to prestige license plates and ad valorem taxation of motor vehicles. House Bill 541 by Representative Bruce of the 61st, Beverly of the 143rd, Bodie of the 62nd, Jackson of the 64th, Thomas of the 39th, and others, a bill relating to commissions and other agencies. House Bill 542 by Representative Bruce of the 61st, Mitchell of the 88th, Jackson of the 128th, Frazier of the 126th, Allen of the 40th, and others, a bill relating to general provisions relative to the state militia. House Bill 543 by Representative McLaurin of the 51st, Cannon of the 58th, Lim of the 99th, Shannon of the 84th, Park of the 101st, and others, a bill relating to motor vehicles and traffic. House Bill 544 by Representative Powell of the 32nd, Collins of the 68th, Oliver of the 82nd, Jaspers of the 11th, Smyrie of the 135th, and others, a bill relating to lottery for education. House Bill 545 by Representative Carson of the 46th, Jones of the 25th, Jaspers of the 11th, Barr of the 103rd, Irwin of the 28th, and others. A bill relating to other educational programs under the Quality Basic Education Act, House Bill 546 by Representative Stevens of the 164th and Petrie of the 166th. A bill to provide a new charter for the city of Richmond Hill, House Bill 547 by Representative Henderson of the 113th. A bill relating to a brief period of quiet reflection authorized in nature of period. House Bill 548 by Representative Dempsey of the 13th, Reeves of the 34th, Wade of the 9th, Oliver of the 82nd, Dubnick of the 29th. A bill relating to persons and agencies permitted access to records, House Bill 549 by Representative Wynn of the 89th, Cannon of the 58th, McLean of the 100th, Park of the 101st, Hawley of the 111th, and others. A bill relating to sex discrimination in employment, House Bill 550 by Representative Lim of the 99th. A bill relating to real estate brokers and salespersons, House Bill 551 by Representative Wilkerson of the 38th, Carter of the 92nd, Lewis Ward of the 109th, Smith of the 41st. A bill relating to effectiveness of other educational programs, House Bill 552 by Representative Cooper of the 43rd, England of the 116th, Kelly of the 16th, Burns of the 159th, Williamson of the 115th. A bill relating to insurance, House Bill 553 by Representative Gunter of the 8th, Reeves of the 34th, Efstration of the 104th, Burchett of the 176th, Smith of the 18th, and others. A bill relating to administrative procedure, House Bill 554 by Representative Gunter of the 8th, Efstration of the 104th, Smith of the 18th, Momtahan of the 17th, Oliver of the 82nd, and others. A bill relating to lis pendens, House Bill 555 by Representative Gunter of the 8th, Burchett of the 176th, Efstration of the 104th, Leverett of the 33rd, Smith of the 18th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions regarding pretrial proceedings, House Bill 556 by Representative Gunter of the 8th, Reeves of the 34th, Efstration of the 104th, Leverett of the 33rd, Smith of the 18th, and others. A bill relating to accusations, House Bill 557 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Washburn of the 141st, Jenkins of the 132nd, Mathis of the 144th, Green of the 151st. A bill relating to solid waste management, House Bill 558 by Representative Jackson of the 64th, Bruce of the 61st, Bazemore of the 63rd, Thomas of the 65th, Dreyer of the 59th, and others. A bill relating to development authorities, House Bill 559 by Representative Jackson of the 64th, Smyrie of the 135th, Mitchell of the 88th, Hobson of the 153rd, Bodie of the 62nd, and others. A bill relating to special license plates, House Bill 560 by Representative Taylor of the 173rd, LaHood of the 175th, Watson of the 172nd. A bill to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Thomas County, House Bill 561 by Representative Fry of the 118th, Wiedauer of the 119th, Gaines of the 117th, and Nolowitz of the 42nd, Alexander of the 66th. A bill relating to condominiums, House Bill 562 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Ridley of the 6th, Scoggins of the 14th, Cooper of the 43rd, Perkle of the 155th. A bill relating to warrants for arrest, House Bill 563 by Representative Jones of the 25th, Pruitt of the 149th, Gullett of the 19th. A bill relating to general provisions for sales and use taxes, House Bill 564 by Representative Smith of the 41st. A bill relating to special provisions for certain vehicles, House Bill 565 by Representative Kennard of the 102nd, Marin of the 96th, McLaurin of the 51st, Carter of the 92nd, McLean of the 100th, and others. A bill relating to procedure for sentencing and imposition of punishment, House Bill 566 by Representative Burchett of the 176th, Hitchens of the 161st, Sains of the 180th, Corbett of the 174th, Crow of the 110th, and others. A bill relating to cancellation, suspension, and revocation of licenses, House Bill 567 by Representative Cooper of the 43rd, Jones of the 47th, and Nolowitz of the 42nd, Dempsey of the 13th, Martin of the 49th. A bill relating to control of hazardous conditions, preventable disease, and metabolic disorders, House Bill 568 by Representative Wilson of the 80th, Couch of the 50th, Douglas of the 78th, Allen of the 40th, Schofield of the 60th. A bill relating to maintenance and filing rates, rating plans, rating systems, or underwriting rules, and examination of claimers' errors practices by the Commissioner, House Bill 569 by Representative Wilson of the 80th, Drenner of the 85th, Oliver of the 82nd, and Buckner of the 137th. A bill relating to professions and businesses, House Bill 570 by Representative Neal of the 74th, Jackson of the 128th, Lopez of the 86th, Lim of the 99th. A bill relating to the Georgia Public Safety Training Center, House Bill 571 by Representative Neal of the 74th, Jackson of the 128th, Lopez of the 86th, Lim of the 99th. A bill relating to employment and training of peace officers, House Bill 572 by Representative McLaurin of the 51st, Gunter of the 8th, Oliver of the 82nd, Bodie of the 62nd, Walensky of the 79th, and others. A bill relating to conduct of proceedings in criminal trials, House Bill 573 by Representative Singleton of the 71st, Collins of the 68th, Powell of the 32nd, Jaspers of the 11th, Lott of the 122nd, and others. A bill relating to county boards of tax assessors, House Resolution 182 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Williams of the 168th, Petrie of the 166th. Resolution encouraging the state of Georgia to establish a Georgia Gullah Geechee Heritage Society. Resolution 183 by Representative Knight of the 130th, Rhodes of the 120th, LaHood of the 175th, Donahue of the 30th, and Corbett of the 174th. A resolution urging the United States Congress to pass the Recovering America's Wildlife Act. House Resolution 184 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, resolution proposing amendment to the Constitution so as to authorize the General Assembly to provide by law for pari-mutuel betting on horse racing. House Resolution 185 by Representative Ralston of the 7th, Watson of the 172nd, Jackson of the 11th, England of the 116th, Dickey of the 140th, and others. Resolution reauthorizing the House Rural Development Council. House Resolution 186 by Representative Buckner of the 137th, Frazier of the 126th, Wilson of the 80th, Nolowitz of the 42nd, Oliver of the 82nd, and others. Resolution creating the Joint Medicaid Sustainability Study Committee. House Resolution 187 by Representative Beverly of the 143rd, Wilkerson of the 38th, Mitchell of the 88th, Robichaud of the 48th, Bazemore of the 63rd, and others. Resolution urging the expansion of Medicaid. House Resolution 188 by Representative Schofield of the 60th, Beverly of the 143rd, Mitchell of the 88th, Hutchinson of the 107th, Spire of the 135th. Resolution supporting the creation of a state work group to increase chronic disease information and screenings in communities of color. House Resolution 201 by Representative Neal of the 74th, Lopez of the 86th, Jackson of the 128th, Lim of the 99th. Resolution promoting and encouraging local law enforcement agencies to incorporate mental health operatives into their agencies. Senate Bill 46 by Senator Burke of the 11th, Watson of the 1st, Hatchett of the 50th, Miller of the 49th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, and others. A bill relating to health. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees the clerk will read.
Representative Stevens of the 164th District, Chairman of the Committee on Economic Development and Tourism, submitted the following report. The Speaker, Committee on Economic Development and Tourism has under consideration the following bill of the House and has instructed me to report the same back to the House following recommendations. House Bill 8060 passed by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Stevens of the 164th District, Chairman. Representative Jan Tankersley, the 160th District, Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Local, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Local has had under consideration the following bills of the House. This has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 223 do pass. House Bill 396 do pass. House Bill 456 do pass. House Bill 490 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Tankersley, the 160th District Chairman. Representative Jay Collins, the 68th District Chairman of Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security has had under consideration the following bills to the House. Instructed me to report the same back to the House. The following recommendations. House Bill 347 do pass. House Bill 275 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Jay Collins of the 68th District Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
We are going on now to the local calendar. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. Before we go on to the local calendar, I have an announcement to make. Listen up. If you have lost a phone in the ladies' restroom, it is up here at the podium. I did not find it. But Betsy has the phone. If you've lost one in there, I don't think so. Good try. All right, third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the local calendar.
House Bill 223 by Representative Benton of the 31st, Jackson County. House Bill 396 by Representative Green of the 151st, South Georgia Regional Information Technology Authority. House Bill 456 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Carroll County. House Bill 490 by Representative Hill of the 3rd, Catoosa County.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bills on the local calendar. The ayes are 134, the nays are 10. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. All right, we're going on to morning orders now. We are going on to morning orders. If you have signed up for a morning order, be prepared to be recognized by the chair. Chair recognizes for a morning order Chairman Hawkins, Chairman Barr, Chairman Dubnik, and Representative Donahue. One minute each on morning orders today. Gentlemen may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last night, the state of Georgia lost a giant as Big Jim Walters went to be with his Lord and Savior. Big Jim had a big heart and gave to many. His name graces many buildings, such as the YMCA, Lanier Technical College, Northeast Georgia, just to name a few. Jim was a pioneer in the Georgia Industrial Loan Association. While owning many businesses throughout the country, he always took time to lend an ear and give advice to young and old. He served under many governors and even a couple of presidents. I will always remember his words, "Only in America, what a great country this is." Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Belton for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to remember Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator. Everybody knows the first line of the Gettysburg Address 77 years ago, but few can recall the next and most important sentence. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether this nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. This wasn't the rhetorical question from a confident leader. It was a heart-wrenching query from an embattled president, an admission and doubt from a beleaguered man who sent 600,000 men to their deaths. Did Lincoln know his sacrifice would create the most powerful, most prosperous, most just nation on the planet? Of course not. America in 1863 was a weak, backwater nation. But he knew that a new nation, conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal, was worth the cost, so that government of the people, by the people, for the people, should not perish from the earth. Prior to 1776, every government on the planet was designed to protect the power and the wealth of a monarch. These United States are the first place on earth where government was made to ensure the freedom of the people from the government. Lincoln quoted the Bible when he gave freedom to all men. He quoted Jesus when he said that a house divided cannot stand. He quoted Scripture when he asked us not to judge one another. Instead, he said, with malice towards none, with charity for all, with firmness in our belief in God, let us finish the work we are in, to bind the nation's wounds, to care for him who bore the battle, to achieve and cherish a just and everlasting peace among ourselves and all nations.
Chair recognizes for a morning order Representative Al Williams and Representative Gloria Frazier. And Chairman Don Hogan.
If you don't mind, just a little spray. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At the start of World War II, after Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt said something that this country will never forget. He said, "Today is a day that will live in infamy." January 23rd, 2020 is a day that will live in infamy in Georgia. On that day, Obad Arbery was viciously murdered on the street in Glynn County. But a lot of good things happened in spite of. And this family and his mother, Ms. Wanda Cooper, who is listening, the sympathy of this state is still with you. This family, but most of all, those of us up here, we want to make sure that there be some heroes that are not forgotten who has made things happen in this state. We thank Speaker Ralston, who spoke eloquently about Aubrey at the beginning of this session. We thank Governor Kemp for his strong words at the signing of House Bill 479. We thank Sheriff Neil Jump, sheriff down in Glynn County, who went out of his way to make sure that folk were safe and things were orderly. Director Vic Reynolds from the GBI, who made sure there was a thorough and quick investigation. Dean Smiley, Representative Gloria Frazier, Representative Don Hogan. And I looked up that day and Representative Hogan was standing there because he knew Glynn County needed justice. So we pause today in memory of Obart Aubrey because he had to die, unfortunately, for us to take an inward look and see what needed to be done in Georgia. And Georgia is starting to rise to the occasion. Let me say this. Scripturally it says, all things work together for good for those who love the Lord and live according to his purpose. We're seeing good come out of tragedy. May we all remember January 23rd and strive to do better in this journey called life. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes for a morning order Chairman Corbett, Chairman Ron Stevens, and Representative Ridley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Resolution 105 recognizes February 23rd, 2021 as Dyslexia Day at the Capitol. If it were not for COVID, there would be 200 kids here going around trying to bring awareness to this disease, and it is treatable when caught early. I was first made aware of this with a constituent of mine about 4 years ago. Her son was told, you know, he's a boy, he just learns slower, he's okay. But anyway, she had him tested, and turned out he had dyslexia. They got him the proper treatment, the different way of teaching these kids. And anyway, now he is excelling in school. His name is Gabe Hewling, and we'll give a shout out to Gabe and keep up the good work.
Chair recognizes Representative Sandra Scott for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A victorious woman, a phenomenal woman, a woman that gives freely to the sick, elderly, and children, a woman who is committed to helping and serving people in Georgia and around the world, a woman that would drive across Georgia talking to people about issues and stopping in every little town to a boutique, a woman that can call Cracker Barrel in the middle of Georgia, and they will have a pound of that good old-fashioned bacon waiting for her when she gets there. She believed in the women of this house, joining all the national organizations like Nobel Women, the National Foundation of Women Legislators, WIG, NBCSL, and others. She loved helping and doing for people. We could count on her every sunny day to say, "Mr. Speaker, I am ready to go home." My moment in Black history is former Representative Sharon Beasley Teague. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the word.
Chair recognizes Representative Hutchinson for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today, I bring to you 11-year-old Michaela. I chose Michaela today because she wants to be a future social worker. She also wants to be a foster parent and/or a hairstylist. Michaela is a loving child who's easy to get along with, is great with friends, and she looks forward to helping others when she grows up. 11-year-old Michaela is one of the many children who are available for adoption today in the state of Georgia. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
We are now going on to the rules calendar. Going on to the rules calendar. There were certain measures that were carried forward from yesterday's rules calendar. We're going to begin with those. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 245.
House Bill 245 by Representative LaHood of the 175th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 35 of Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to podiatry practice so as to amend a provision relating to fingerprint and criminal background checks. This bill having referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative LaHood to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members of the House. House Bill 245 is necessary because last year a bill passed that allowed podiatrists to organize jointly with MDs and DOs, and that law is in practice now. And so inadvertently in the bill last year the word renewal was used instead of reinstatement. And so what happens without my bill today, starting this summer in July, podiatrists will have to get fingerprinted to renew their license. Podiatrists who are currently licensed have already had background checks done, and to keep in line with other healthcare professions similar to theirs, they should not have to get another background check done. Only if they lose their license and needed to be reinstated should they need to get their background checked again. So if there's any questions, Mr. Speaker, I'll be glad to answer one or two.
You do not appear to have any questions.
I ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 245 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 245, the ayes are 155, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. For what purpose does Representative Gaines rise?
To make a motion,
State your motion.
I'd like to move that we postpone House Bill 286 to the next legislative day.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 286 by Representative Gaines, the 117th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 36, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to county police, so as to restrict the ability of a county governing authority to reduce funding for county police departments.
On the gentleman's motion that House Bill 286 be postponed until the next legislative day, is there objection? Chair hears none. It is so ordered. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 210.
House Bill 210 by Representative Corbett of the 174th and others to be entitled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 3 and Title 40 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to certificates entitled motor vehicles, so as to exempt certain vehicles from the recording of odometer readings upon certificate of title. This bill will refer to the Committee on Motor Vehicles. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Corbett to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, I bring before you House Bill 210, LC 392844S. House Bill 210 is the Department of Revenue bill. What this does is it brings Georgia in compliance with a federal requirement that when the owner of a motor vehicle sells or transfers that motor vehicle, the odometer reading has to be entered on the certificate of title for 20 years for a vehicle that is manufactured after 2011. And that's all this bill does, Mr. Speaker. I'll yield for questions if there are any.
Looks like you do have a question. Do you yield?
I yield.
Chair recognizes Leader Beverly to your left for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
To my friend.
So this bill just brings into compliance what we're doing in the state with the federal
What federal requirement, that is correct.
Very good. Thank you very much.
And if no further questions, Mr. Speaker, I would ask everyone's
No
favorable
further
consideration.
questions.
Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 210. The ayes are 163, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 342.
House Bill 342 by Representative Washburn of the 141st and others to be titled an act to amend Chapter 14 of Title 43 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to electrical contractors, plumbers, conditioned air contractors, low-vote contractors, and utility contractors, so as to prohibit certain advertisements relating to plumbing. This bill I refer to the Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Washburn to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I come today to present House Bill 342. This is a simple bill. It simply prohibits anyone who does not hold a master plumber's or a journeyman plumber's license from advertising that they do hold such a license. So it's a very simple bill, and I would appreciate your consideration of it. I would yield for any questions, Mr. Speaker.
You do not have any questions.
Thank you. I'd appreciate your favorable consideration of this bill.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 342 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 342, the ayes are 167, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 354.
House Bill 354 by Representative Williams, the 145th and others, to be entitled an Act to amend Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to professions and businesses so as to require the State Board of Cemeterians and the State Board of Funeral Services to report suspected unlawful activity to the Sheriff's Office and the Attorney General. This bill then referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Rick Williams to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a consumer protection bill. This bill is brought to stop fraud, forgery, and other illegal crimes that are damaging people and families when they have prepaid for funerals or cemetery spaces and the money has not been appropriately put in trust like it's supposed to. This is a reaction to one of the state boards allowing a cemetery to operate 15 years without a license, and during that period of time there was probably $500,000 worth of damage done to families. And that cemetery owner is now in state prison from breaking the law. And it was done with the Sheriff's Department and our local district attorney. So this is just a consumer protection bill, and I'll stand for any questions, Mr. Speaker.
It appears that you do have a question. Do you yield?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Bentley to your left for a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Is it not true that my husband is a fourth-generation funeral director in Middle Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it not further true that although this bad action happened in Middle Georgia, we as funeral professionals encourage everyone in this body, in this House, in this Georgia General Assembly, to please consider pre-planning, because that is really the best way to prepare for the time when the Lord calls us home?
That is correct.
Thank you for your work on this bill.
And I believe you're a signer to this bill. You're the queen of the funeral caucus, and we appreciate your support.
You didn't say the strawberry.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And I appreciate your work on this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill. The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 354, the ayes are 167, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 367.
House Bill 367 by Representative Parrish of the 158th and others, retitled an act to amend Chapter 13 and Title 16 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to controlled substances so as to change certain provisions relating to Schedules 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 controlled substances. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Judiciary, Judiciary Non-Civil, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman Parrish to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, those of you that are new, this bill comes to us from the Drugs and Narcotics Agency each year. It's their annual drug update. And those of you that have been here for a while, you'll know that every year we do this, and it simply allows our Georgia statute to sync with the feds, and which allows our law enforcement agencies to be more effective and efficiency in doing their jobs. Mr. Speaker, if any questions, I'll take them. If not, I would ask for your favorable consideration on House Bill 367.
You do not have any questions.
Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 367, the ayes are 164, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 149.
House Bill 149 by Representative Williamson of the 115th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 48 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to income taxes so as to allow for certain elections to be made by subchapter S corporations and partnerships. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Ways and Means, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker and members of the House, I bring for your consideration today House Bill 149 by committee substitute, LC 431908S. This bill simply allows the business entities in Georgia which are organized as pass-through companies, and which are the majority of the business entities in Georgia. And we're talking about S corporations and LLCs. And again, most of the businesses, small businesses in particular, are organized as LLCs. This bill takes advantage of a recent IRS ruling that was published back in November that the Department of the Treasury and Internal Revenue Service intend to issue proposed regulations to allow these business entities to pay their state and local their state taxes at the entity level. This bill, we worked hard with the Department of Revenue to make sure we had it right. It is zero revenue impact to the state of Georgia. Comes without objection, and furthermore, the endorsement of the CPA community, the business communities that are involved, and Georgia Chamber of Commerce and others. Most of our CPAs in the room, and I know we have several, had a chance to talk to them about it, and they'd be happy to answer any questions. But the net is, if you pay your state taxes at the entity level, it will thereby lower your federal tax liability on your personal returns. Be happy to answer any questions.
You have a question or two if you care to yield.
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Chair recognizes Representative Wilkerson to your left for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that 8 states have already passed this legislation?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
They believe 14 more are looking at it as well?
Yes, sir.
Both Democratic as well as Republican states?
This is great. Everybody loves to save money on taxes.
And it has no impact on the state of Georgia revenue, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you for bringing this bill.
Thank you for the question. Mr. Speaker, I'd be happy to answer any other questions, but hearing none, I'd yield the well and answer
You have one, but it's up to you.
I'll answer one more, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Carson to your right for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
Be happy to answer another CPA's question.
Very good. Is it not true that you and I both found IRS Notice 2020-75, which clearly lays out that the Department of Treasury and the IRS are going to allow this treatment, thus the state taxes being paid from the partnership entity? Is that not true?
Well, it's not true. You found it, I didn't, and thank you for sharing that information with me. Mr. Speaker, I'll yield the well and ask for the body's favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 149. The ayes are 167, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 374.
House Bill 374 by Representative Gaines, the 117th, being titled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 4080 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to sales and use taxes to those exempt from taxation, local authorities providing public water or sewer service. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Gaines to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 374 is identical language to a bill that this House passed unanimously last year. And what it does is it lines up any multi-county water and sewer authority with any single county water and sewer authority by any purchases that they make would be exempt from local and state sales tax. Happy to answer any questions.
You do not have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield to Will.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 374. The ayes are 164, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 161.
House Bill 161 by Representative Tankersley, the 180th to be titled an act to amend Chapter 42 and Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to downtown development authorities, so as to remove a provision providing perpetual existence of such authorities. This bill then referred to the Committee on Governmental Affairs. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman Jan Tankersley to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to stand before you today to present House Bill 161. This is a Department of Community Affairs bill, and it's relevant only to downtown development authorities. This bill did pass out of the House last session, but my funeral home friends will understand when I say it was laid to rest in the Senate when COVID came along and sent us all home. So while downtown development authorities can go inactive, they cannot be dissolved. These DDAs are the only authorities in our code section that require perpetual existence. And even though they are inactive, they're still required to generate a financial report every year. So this bill would simply allow municipal governments to legally dissolve these DDAs that are no longer active. They can hold no assets, and they have no outstanding debt or any other obligations. So this legislation is necessary to remove 6 little words that are underlined on your copy of the bill, and that is, each authority shall have perpetual existence. By striking this sentence, this bill allows these dormant, inactive authorities to be legally dissolved. GMA supports this bill, and with that, Mr. Speaker, I would yield for any questions.
You do not have any questions.
Thank you. I would ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 161 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 161, the ayes are 165, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 68.
House Bill 68 by Representative Clark of the 147th to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 43-1415 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to certain military certifications that entitle persons to obtain certain professional licenses. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman Heath Clark to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, House Bill 68 simply extends the time that a service member can use some of the certifications and training that they got while in the military towards a professional license from 180 days to 2 years. And it's specifically for electrical contractor, plumber, HVAC, low voltage contractor, or utility contractors, and those licensing boards can also extend it beyond 2 years if there's some extenuating circumstances. That's the bill, and I will stand for any questions.
You have a question if you care to yield.
I will yield.
Chair recognizes Chairman Setzler to your right for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
For you, I will. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So this affects the amount of time they can credit. This doesn't change any provisions about testing for certification. This is just time served is extended from one, or the time served credit extends from 180 to days to 2 years.
So from the time of their discharge, it moves it from 180 days from their discharge to 2 years that they can apply the training that they received towards a professional license.
I see. So they wouldn't time out and lose the ability to get licensed.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the bill.
Thank you. If there are no further questions,
No further questions.
I will yield and ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 68. The ayes are 163, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 119.
House Bill 119 by Representative Mathiak, the 73rd, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 1474 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to professional services in which a professional corporation may engage. This bill having referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman Hawkins to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 119 addresses allowing chiropractors practicing within their scope to join in a business relationship and ownership with physicians, similar to what we see with optometrists and ophthalmologists. Both associations have agreed upon this, and so if there are no further questions, I ask for your consideration and approval.
You have no questions. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 119. The ayes are 163, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 241.
House Bill 241 by Representative Gamble, the 15th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 33(7)(6) of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to property insurance, contract requirements, rules and regulations, and exemptions. This bill having referred to the Committee on Insurance, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Gamble to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I rise today to present House Bill 241 to you, which deals with service contracts, sometimes called extended warranties. These are optional products that are not mandated by law, like homeowners insurance or automobile insurance. Under this legislation, if we pass it, it would allow Georgia to join 48 other states that have already done this. And it would, if a consumer canceled one of these contracts early, it allows for the deduction of claims paid from a refund amount. This protects the consumer by clearly defining the process of what happens when they cancel the contract, while also preventing fraud where someone could technically purchase one of these contracts, file a claim, and then immediately cancel it, leaving the company holding the bag. It also adds key fobs in as part of what is allowable under these service contracts. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'd be happy to yield for questions.
You have a question if you care to yield.
I do.
Chair recognizes Representative Hutchinson up in the gallery. To your right. She waves. You have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 241. The ayes are 166. The nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. What purpose does Representative Bodie rise? He waves. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 305.
House Bill 305 by Representative Hawkins, the 27th. The bill be entitled Act to amend Chapter 24A, Title 43, the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to the practice of massage therapy, so as to revise a deposition. This bill having referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Recognizes Chairman Hawkins to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill speaks to a follow-up on the bill that we passed about 2 years ago for massage therapy. It came to the attention of the attorney that helps them through the Attorney General's office that it was not completely described within their board rules about who would be doing the testing. So they are using a national association, who they use now and who they've used in the past. The difference is the name is not included, so in the future they can actually change or make additions. The second addition to this is on line 31, and it speaks to certifying the instructor of the course. So this is more of a cleanup bill, does not change hours, does not change any of the requirements, but it's just more of a complete definition. If there are no questions, Mr. Speaker, I will yield the well.
You do not appear to have any questions. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 305, the ayes are 161, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Honoring the life and memory of Wayne Lowe. Honoring the life and memory of Ernest W. Wood. Honoring the life and memory of Mark Anthony Suttles. Honoring the life and memory of Eugene Edwards. Recognizing February 26, 2021 as City Tucker Councilman Bill Rosenfeld Day. Recognizing and commending the Georgia Forestry Commission for 100 years of service to the state of Georgia. Recognizing and commending Cosmopolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church on the occasion of its 152nd anniversary, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the privileged resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. What purpose does Chairman Cooper rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to make a motion.
State your motion.
I would like that the rules would be temporarily suspended so that a bill can be read and assigned to a committee.
Clerk will read the caption.
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Cooper, the 43rd, to be entitled an Act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to care and protection of indigent and elderly patients.
On the lady's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended so that a bill may be read for the first time and assigned to committee. Is there objection? Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Human Relations and Aging. What purpose does Representative Wynn rise? All right, we're going to move on. All right, we're about to go on to announcements. So if you have signed up for an announcement, be prepared and be at the front of the chamber. All right, we're going on now to announcements. Chair recognizes Representative Becky Evans for an announcement. Chair recognizes Representative Anulowitz and Representative Alexander for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to let everyone know that the Women's Legislative Caucus will meet today after this session adjourns. We're going to be in a new room this week that is the Legislative Office Building, room 514. That's room 514 in the Legislative Office Building for the Women's Legislative Caucus. Thank you. We have a good agenda today.
Chair recognizes Chairman Parsons for an announcement.
Thank you, thank you, Speaker. Reminder that there will be a Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications meeting at 3 o'clock p.m. in room 403 at the Capitol upstairs here. We have one bill. It should not take too long, but your attendance is definitely you need to be there. Your attendance will be appreciated. Thank you, Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Corbett for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Environmental Quality Subcommittee of Natural Resources will meet this afternoon at 2 p.m. in 515 CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Setzler for an announcement.
The Setzler Subcommittee of Judiciary Non-Civil will meet at 1 o'clock in room 415 LOB, Setzler Subcommittee.
Chair recognizes Representative LaRicchia for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., the prayer fellowship in room 403 Capitol. If you can't make it, pray about it. Take that up with God between now and then. Appreciate you.
Chair recognizes Vice Chairman Gravely for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a resolution here in my hands. I would like to invite everyone to come sign it. It is recognizing and commending the Atlanta Black Chamber of Commerce. I will have it down front at the chamber if you'd like to sign it. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Reeves for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Reeves Subcommittee of Judiciary Non-Civil will meet at 4 o'clock today in room 132 of the Capitol, and we will promptly adjourn at 5 o'clock so I can pick up my 5-year-old. Thank you.
You better. Chair recognizes Chairman Heath Clark for an announcement.
8 o'clock in the morning, the House Defense and Veterans Affairs will have a meeting in CLOB 506, 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning.
Chair recognizes Chairman Carson for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Folks, House Retirement Committee will meet in 406 CLOB at 2 o'clock today. 2 bills being heard. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Darlene Taylor for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Insurance, Life, and Health Subcommittee will meet today at 1 and 406 CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Cooper for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Health and Human Services Committee will meet today at 2. We have a full schedule, so if you'll try to be on time, 2 o'clock and 606 the CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dickey for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At 8 a.m. in the morning, Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee will meet 406 CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Becky Evans for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to invite the ladies of the House to the Georgia Wand 3rd Annual Legislative Tea and Sweets Reception today at 3:30. You should have all received an invitation in your offices. And if not, you can text me and I can text you the link to join in. It'll be via Zoom. Thank you so much.
Chair recognizes Representative Carpenter for an announcement.
Thank you, Speaker. There is food in the anteroom if anybody's hungry.
What purpose does the Majority Caucus whip rise? State your motion.
So 114 be recommitted to the Ways and Means Committee.
The Majority Caucus whip has moved that House Bill 114 be recommitted to the Ways and Means Committee. Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 114 by Representative Reeves, the 34th, and others, being entitled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7, and Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to imposition rate computation and exemptions from state income taxes.
On the gentleman's motion that House Bill 114 be recommitted to the Ways and Means Committee, is there objection? Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. The chair recognizes the majority leader of the House for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Wednesday, February the 24th, 2021.
The majority leader has moved that this House stand adjourned until Wednesday, February 24 at 10 o'clock a.m. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and this House will be adjourned until Wednesday at 10 a.m.